You ever sit in a room full of people and still feel completely alone? Not physically alone. Surrounded. People talking, laughing, existing right next to you. But there's this invisible wall between you and everyone else, and no matter how much you smile or nod or say the right things, you go home feeling emptier than when you left. That feeling has a name, and if you've ever felt it, you're not broken. You're just missing one thing, and I'm going to show you exactly what that thing is in the next few minutes. But first, I need you to understand something. The disconnection you feel isn't random. It's not a personality flaw. It's not because you're too quiet or too much or too different. It's the result of one specific habit that most people have never been taught. One habit. And when you start doing it consistently, the quality of every single relationship in your life changes. Fast. Dramatically. In ways you genuinely didn't expect. We'll get to that habit in just a moment. Because before we do, I want you to really sit with the pain of what it feels like when connection is missing. Not to hurt you, but because understanding the depth of the wound is what makes the solution actually stick. Think about the last time you tried to have a real conversation with someone. Maybe a friend you haven't seen in a while. Maybe someone you live with every single day. You were talking. Words were happening. But somewhere in the middle of it, you realized they weren't really listening. Their eyes glazed slightly. They were waiting to talk. And in that moment, something small inside you closed. You pulled back. You decided, without even consciously thinking it, that it wasn't worth going deeper. And that decision made in half a second creates distance that can last for years. Now flip it. Think about a time someone truly listened to you. Not scrolling, not waiting, actually present, eyes on you. Nodding not to fill silence, but because they genuinely tracked every word. You felt it, didn't you? Something opened. You said more than you planned to say. You felt lighter, seen, real. That moment probably didn't cost either of you anything except attention. And yet, it changed something. That contrast, that gap between those two experiences, is where the habit lives. Here's the thing that research in human psychology has shown again and again. People don't remember conversations because of what was said. They remember how they felt during them. And the number one thing that makes someone feel genuinely connected to you is the sense that you actually care about what they're saying. Not pretending to care, actually caring, or at the very least, practicing the behaviors that activate care. The habit is deep listening, but not the kind you think. Before I go further, there are related programs linked down below in this video description. If you're someone who feels like you've tried to improve your relationships and nothing has really stuck, these programs break everything down in a way that gets results. Most people who look at them think they don't need them. That's usually the person who needs them most, just saying. Check the description below. Now, deep listening. Let's be brutally honest. Most of us don't actually do this. Ever. We think we do. We're in the room. We're not being rude. We're technically present. But in our heads, we're already formulating our response. We're relating what they said back to ourselves. We're mentally checking out because we already know where this is going. And people feel that they feel it even when they can't name it. And every time they feel it, they trust you slightly less. They share slightly less. They pull slightly further away. And the crazy part is, both of you walk away from the conversation feeling vaguely disconnected, but neither of you can explain why. That's the quiet cost of not listening. Not dramatic, not obvious. Just a slow erosion of closeness that compounds over months and years until one day you look up and realize you feel like strangers to the people you're supposed to be closest to. That's not a small thing. That's one of the loneliest experiences a human being can have. And here's where it gets even more personal. That loneliness has consequences. People who consistently feel disconnected from those around them report higher levels of anxiety, higher levels of stress, a shorter fuse in conflicts, more difficulty sleeping, less motivation in their work, less joy in everyday moments. The absence of real connection doesn't just hurt your relationships, it bleeds into everything, into how you show up, into how you see yourself, into whether you feel like your life actually means something. This is not a small habit. This is everything. So what does deep listening actually look like in practice? Because this is where most people go wrong. They think listening means being quiet while the other person talks. That's surface listening. Deep listening is something completely different. It's a full-body experience. It's making real eye contact that communicates your tracking. It's letting silence exist without rushing to fill it because you trust the person across from you to continue when they're ready. It's reflecting back what you heard before you respond, not to parrot it back robotically, but to genuinely confirm that you understood. It's asking questions that go one layer deeper than what was said. Not interrogating, exploring, because you're curious, because you actually want to know. Here's a simple way to think about it. Most conversations move horizontally, topic to topic, surface to surface. Deep listening moves vertically. You stay on one thing longer, you go deeper into it. You ask what it meant to them, how it felt, why it mattered. And when you do that, something extraordinary happens in the other person's brain. They feel understood. And the moment a person feels understood, they attach that feeling to you. You become someone safe, someone real, someone they want to be around. Neurologically, when someone feels deeply heard, oxytocin is released. That's the same bonding chemical involved in some of the most powerful human attachment experiences. You are literally triggering a biological response in someone just by listening to them properly. That's how powerful this is. And it takes no money, no special talent, no perfect words, just presence and practice. Here's the part that changes everything when you're applying this. The people around you right now are starving for this, genuinely starving. Studies consistently show that most people feel chronically misunderstood by the people in their lives. That includes your family, your closest friends, your partner if you have one. They're not looking for someone to fix them or give them advice or relate everything back to a personal story. They're looking for someone who will just stop and actually hear them. Fully. Without an agenda. When you become that person, your relationships transform at a pace that almost feels unrealistic. Within weeks of practicing deep listening consistently, people report that friends open up more. Relationships that felt stagnant start moving again. Conflicts resolve with less drama because both people feel heard. Partners reconnect. There's a warmth that returns to interactions that had gone cold, not because something external changed, but because one person decided to show up differently. You become magnetic without performing. You become someone people trust without demanding it. You become the person in every room who makes others feel like they matter, and people spend their whole lives searching for someone who makes them feel that way. This one habit, that's the distance between the life you have and the life you want. Between feeling like an outsider in your own relationships and feeling genuinely, deeply connected to the people around you. Between the version of you that goes home from social situations feeling depleted and the version that leaves feeling full. You already know whether this is something you need. You felt it when I described that room full of people. You felt it when I described the glazed look. You felt it because you've lived it, and you know that feeling has cost you. The programs linked in the video description below are for people who are serious about changing the quality of their relationships starting now, not someday. Not when things settle down, now. The people who take action on this today are the ones who look back 6 months from now and genuinely cannot believe how different their lives feel. That could be you. The description is right below this video.